Okay, so this is the week that we move from the first phase of the class where we identify an opportunity so we don't waste our time, and we move into phase two. This is a huge mental shift. We're going to stop thinking of ourselves as being students in a class, and we're going to start thinking of ourselves as being a new venture, a startup. And I want to pause and make sure that you internalize that we're doing that, so that for all future assignments, you're not submitting something just for yourself, you're submitting something for the venture. These are team-based assignments on behalf of your startup. And so you might ask, why are we going to do that? What's the point? And the point from my perspective is to have a bigger impact than you could have as an individual. This is a picture of Clara Barton. She was a nurse during World War I. Everybody said she was an amazing nurse, but she did even better than just kind of perform as a great nurse. She started the American Red Cross, and last year the Red Cross saved 229 million lives. And Clara Barton's not even alive anymore. So here she is. She creates an organization that lives longer than she does and helps more people than she ever could. It's the same thing for Amazon, for Uber, any company. There's no chance that you could make that much money or change that many lives just doing something, even if you're great at it, by yourself. But that's a really intimidating thing to say that you want to do, especially as a student. And a lot of people say, well, I'm just a student. I can't do that. I need to go out and learn how to work in the world. And, there's all these barriers that I have to get past. And my point to you is that a lot of those barriers are just in your head. When you think about all the things that the Red Cross does today, those aren't all things that Clara Barton was able to do. She just helped organize the people and resources that she needed to get the organization started, and it got better and better over time and grew. So your job now is to start thinking creatively about what resources and people you have available to you to help get started and grow. Some ideas include you and all the things you can do now and learn to do. Co-founders, these are other people who can complement the skills that you have with their skills and know-how. You've got other companies that you can use their products or hire them to do work for you. Same thing with consultants and advisors. Investors can bring capital. There are existing products out in the world that you can use to kind of repackage into something for your business. There's the resources that you have and you have access to, not only at home, but also here through the school. Sometimes customers can be so motivated and excited about what you're doing that they're willing to fund and kind of work with you. So these are just some of the ideas, and your job now is to think like an entrepreneur, look around and figure out what resources do you have available to you to accomplish the things that you need to get done. So along those lines, I just want to start planting seeds about ideas about businesses that are easy to start. These are business models that are like tried and true, and maybe you don't know about them, so I just want to help make you aware of some of these options. One is to start sharing your idea. Just go out, tell everybody about what you're working on, and figure out who is excited about that same problem. Pitch competitions through other organizations, meetup groups. You can possibly find coworkers, advisors, investors. I mean, that's how you start recruiting people, is you start talking about what you're doing and telling your story. My friend Ross started a company called Growth Spark, and they're what's called a value-added reseller. They take Shopify, which allows people to create their own e-commerce storefronts, and they customize Shopify websites for other companies. So Ross didn't go out and build Shopify. He just learned how to use Shopify really well, and he packages it up and resells it to companies. There's consulting. This is like the easiest kind of business to start, where you just say, go ahead and pay me this amount of money and I'll do this amount of work for you. You come up with a proposal. So there's tons of consulting firms out there. It's a really easy business to start. My friend Adam started a company called Traction Group out of college, and this is a staff augmentation company, essentially white-collar outsourcing. Sometimes big companies don't want to hire employees to take on work that may or may not stick around, and so they hire these staff augmentation companies to come in, and you can charge a premium on top of the hourly rate for the people, and then your business keeps the difference. You can start on commission, which is like a really low risk way that aligns the interests of both you and the customer. So the only person who ever actually made any money in this class is Caitlin a few years ago, and she made a deal with Little Caesars where she could go out and recruit managers. They were having a really hard time finding managers to run stores. And so she went out, she found the managers, and if they stuck around for at least 3 months, she got paid a commission on their salary. One easy way to get started in any industry is to host events. This is the business I started as a grad student. We loved renewable energy, and we just started hiring experts to come in and give seminars. We would charge people for tickets. They'd pay all the money, and then we would pay out some of that money to the speakers, and we would keep the difference. And so I want to leave you with a couple thoughts. Of course, you're not qualified. Your job isn't to be able to be qualified to do all the work. Your job is to put the pieces together to get the job done. When you're out talking to people, I'm not asking you to lie, but I do want you to feel confident knowing that if you find a good opportunity and somebody wants to pay you to do something, you could figure out how to do it. Don't go in timid, kind of apologizing for the fact that you're just a student. If you need a little bit of inspiration along these lines, there's 3 podcast episodes that aren't required, but I think you should check out. Number 1 is that organizations can do more than individuals. This is about a small manufacturing company that started making ventilators with Ford to help with COVID. The second one is Lisa Sauve, You're Not Just a Student. She started an architecture firm when she was still a student. There are a bunch of funny anecdotes about like the back and forth with her first customer trying to figure out how to charge them money and get a business set up and everything. So I think you can relate really well to Lisa. And then Maggie Bayless, who helped start Zing Train, which is one of the Zingerman's businesses, talking about how she never could have done it alone. You know, she needed help from all these people, but how it's made all the difference over the last 25 years. I hope you feel empowered by this message to go out and kind of do something real with this class, because if you just stick in the mindset of being a student for the rest of your life, I just think your impact is going to be limited. So let's go out and have some fun with phase 2 of the class.